Common denominator, who lives, who dies, who lies, who prospers. They bury all the witnesses, the rich ones keep their office. I'm just doing the math, add the bodies, count the coffers. If the dog that never barks starts howling, who gets bothered? Yeah. I ain't saying who pulled triggers, I'm just charting who's still breathing. Who got sweetheart deals in Florida, who kept flying every season. Who was posted in the photos saying barely knew the heathen. Then the flight logs, night calls make that alibi look even. I see Epstein in the jumpsuit, see a cell that lost the tape. See a system say it's suicide while all the cameras take a break. See a president denying but his name's still in the wake. Like a dog that never barks, sitting quiet by the gate. I'm just working with the fractions, who's protected, who's exposed. Who's the constant in the scandal when the case file's getting closed. You can call it just coincidence that every lens corrode, but my chair done seen enough to know when patterns overload. You can feel it in the silence when the room get real and sure. When the powerful get nervous anytime you say secure. Every secret got a sponsor, every cover got a cure. But the kids don't get a do-over, that's the only thing that's pure. So I talk about the lawless one who campaigned as the savior, shouting lock her up in stadiums but ducking his behavior. I ain't judge, I ain't the jury, I'm just tallying the favor. Every course behind the curtain, I keep seeing one name later. Common denominator, who lives, who dies, who lies, who prospers. Bury all the witnesses, the rich ones keep their offers. I'm just doing the math, add the bodies, count the coffers. If the dog that never barks starts howling, who gets bothered? Yeah. I read emails about a victim that he spent long hours with. Later found her in the headline, life reduced to form a myth. They gon' argue about the details, what was proven, what's a rip. But no spreadsheet can erase the way that power let her drift. Call her Virginia, call her sister, call her anybody's child. She was dragging all that trauma through the courts and through the wild. Every interview a rewound tape of being defiled, while the men that knew just lawyered up and kept their money piled. And I'm thinking about that phrase, he's the dog that hasn't barked. How a witness with a megaphone shows silence as his art. If you're sitting on a secret while the victims fall apart, you ain't neutral, you just hoping history never checks your heart. Maybe he ain't touched the girls, maybe that's what papers show. But if you knew the fire burning, watch the sparks and let it glow. You ain't innocent, you comfortable where the shadows never go. And the echo of that comfort's in the graves they had to sow. I ain't saying he's a killer, I'm just saying he survived while the trafficker and witness both stop breathing in their prime. If that pattern make you queasy, that's your conscience, not a crime. I'm just writing out the numbers in the margins of the time. Common denominator, who lives, who dies, who lies, who prospers. They are all the witnesses, the rich ones keep their offers. It's a dog that the dog that never barks starts howling, who gets bothered? Yeah. Empathy filter on my lens, I ain't here for chase the clout. I'm just asking why the loudest say the children crowd lead us out. Why the pastors, why the pundits never question is devout. When the same man dies a stand while girls are crying on the couch. You can love your party line and still admit the math is foul. Still concede the common factor in these bodies make you scowl. I ain't begging you to cancel them, I'm asking you to howl. Cause the dog that never barked, they never saved a single child. If I'm wrong, then let transparency come clear the atmosphere. Drop the files, drop the footage, show us who was really near. If I'm crazy, let the daylight put an end to all this fear. But they fight that open sunlight like it's garlic to a spear. So I rap it like a ledger, who was present, who was spared, who was flown back to the mansion, who was left alone and scared. I'm not playing judge and jury, I'm just showing how they paired. If the truth feel like an insult, maybe ask yourself who's scared. I'm just counting up the names that never make it to the stand, counting who can hire lawyers and who's buried by the sand. If the dog that never barked ever finally takes a stand, every silence that he viewed demise, no intent to front of them. Common denominator, who lives, who dies, who lies, who prospers. Bury all the witnesses, the rich ones keep their offers. I'm just doing the math, add the bodies, count the coffers. If the dog that never barks starts howling, who gets bothered? Yeah. The common denominator, who lives, who dies. They bury witnesses with 2PR dies. I'm just doing it. I'm